All right, we're going to talk about chemical spalling now. This is the chemical breakdown of the material itself. Concrete can last a very, very long time, or if it's not mixed right and has a number of other factors, it can actually break down to the point that it's basically not usable or not serviceable is the term that we would use. Generally, that comes into play for houses that are in the 1930s and earlier. Once in a while, maybe in the houses in the 40s, not very common at all for the 50s. But in the 30s and older is when we really start looking at this as a possible concern. And so some of the factors that play into this are inefficient mixes of the concrete from the start, then not having the right ratio of the mortar that goes into it. Another factor can be moisture. And so some areas, please watch the video about drainage and groundwater, but if water is constantly by the foundation and absorbing into the concrete, that can help accelerate the breakdown of the concrete itself. And so there are cases where you see old houses with some sections that are in really bad shape, crumbling apart, and some that are okay. And a lot of times water is contributing to those factors. If it is a case where it's breaking down, sometimes it's visually evident. You can look at it, you can just see it kind of falling apart visually. One of the main tests is we'll use a hammer to probe, test the concrete, sound it, see how it sounds. Solid concrete will have a ringing sound. Weak concrete will have a thud and just break apart when you hit it. Using a screwdriver to probe at it is another method. And so these are the non-destructive testing methods that we will do on site to determine how bad it is. There are ways to send off core samples and do more extensive testing, but the first visual test is usually fairly effective. And so in cases where it is happening, where it is chemically breaking down, there isn't a repair for it. There's no way to offset that chemical reaction, to augment it. It's a case of foundation replacement. Either in cases where it's really bad and really old is sometimes the whole foundation. In some cases, some sections are still serviceable and you do a partial replacement and then maybe at a certain period in time, do other sections of it. So this is one of the biggest things we're looking for. It's very important that this is caught during a foundation inspection because it can be very, very expensive. Foundation replacement, as you can imagine, can be extremely expensive. A good thumb rule is around $1,000 per linear foot. It can definitely go up in some areas, all the way up to, in some cases, $2,000 per linear foot if drilled piers or more exotic foundation methods are necessary in the long run. And so that can add up very quickly and be very expensive. So that's where you want people with a lot of experience evaluating the condition and objectively analyzing it and independently advising you on your options. Thank you for watching, and please watch follow-on videos.